Hi and welcome to another Music Online UK live. So we already got some people in the chat here already waiting for their latest pub quiz this week. We have Ruby and a new person here from, I haven't seen your name before, Detective Home. It almost sounds like Detective Holmes, so maybe that's Sherlock? Maybe we can call you Sherlock. Okay, and we have Tejashree, we've seen you before, so welcome. And Sophia again, I think, Sophia, you were last week's winner, weren't you? Okay. And Rishabh, hey, hello Rishabh. And yeah, I think those are the people we got at the moment. Now, the way this works for any of you who are watching this for the first time is that I'm going to play you a little piece and then ask you some questions about it. And I have a piece of paper and a pencil, and I'm going to keep score of who gets the first correct answer. So that's how it's like a pub quiz. And we will have a winner. So you've got to be quite fast with your typing fingers today, okay? All right, another little rule of house is that if you are joining late, don't watch from the beginning, don't rewind, because otherwise you won't be able to participate. Just fast forward to the live moment and then you can join in. So here is this week's piece, and as usual, one of the usual questions that I like to ask is, from what period do you think this piece comes? Okay, first correct answer will get the point. Okay, so we have a fairly large selection of people giving answers here. And the first one with the correct answer, whoa, we've got loads of answers already just comes racing through. I'm scrolling through, but I haven't seen the correct answer yet. So, a lot of people have said classical, which is actually incorrect. And it's not Baroque either. I can understand why people are saying classical, because there is a slight simplicity to the melody with nice neat phrasing and everything and not a massive range of notes. But it is actually, Audrey, I think you're the first person to say so, from the Romantic period. Okay, it's romantic. Sorry. No, Ruby got in there just slightly ahead. So, Ruby, you get a first point today. Now, I know you've been really trying your best to win these competitions, Ruby, week after week. So here's wishing you all the luck for this week. Okay, now, can you give me some reasons why you think it might be from the Romantic period? Okay. Right, the use of sustaining pedal. Well, actually, I didn't use any pedals, so I can't give you the points on that one. Although, normally sustaining pedal would be a clue for the Romantic period. Now, Sophia is saying, where did I see that? Rubato. Yes, there is a little bit of pulling around of the time, a little bit of freedom of time. So Sophia gets a point for saying rubato. Okay, now, there's a ritardando at the end. It is true, but a lot of pieces can have a ritardando at the end. I wouldn't necessarily do that. Specifically Romantic period. Okay. The use of chords. Well, chords can be in anything, can't they? Rich harmonies and expressive. Okay, it's quite expressive, isn't it? It's got quite a lot of almost chromatic harmonies. So I'm going to give Rishabh a point for that one. Okay. Now, I'm going to give a really special bonus point for anyone who can actually name the composer. And I'm going to give some clues as we go along, okay? So first of all, we know that it's from the Romantic period, but that is a whole load of composers that it could be. So I'm going to tell you that this composer was a Czech composer. Yeah? From what was Czechoslovakia in those days, now the Czech Republic. Schumann, unfortunately, would be German. So Hiroshima, we can't have that. Lise, I've never heard of Lise. I've heard of Bizet and I've heard of Liszt, but not Lise. Not Chopin. Uh-uh. Litz is not actually a correct spelling, but it's not. Okay. Schubert is another German. Brahms, German. You need to know your nationalities of composers. Okay. I'll give you another clue. This composer wrote a piece which had a very, very famous symphonic poem. The symphonic poem is called Vltava, which was supposed to represent the river flowing through Czechoslovakia, which started off as a little tiny stream, diddle 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 dum, diddle 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 dum, and then you get the big expansive river as it broadens out from the little tributary. Okay, and da dee da 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 dum da da dum da dum. It's called Vltava, and anyone who can maybe start Google searching that. Czech composers in the Romantic period who wrote symphonic poems called Vltava. You can maybe get your answers in the chat. You are allowed to use Google on these, because I can't check you're cheating or not, can I? So let's see who can get there quickly with their little Google search for a Czech composer who wrote the piece Vltava and also this particular piece that we were listening to. Everyone's busy now on Google, aren't they? And they've stopped on the chat. We'll have an answer in a second. Vltava, V-L-T-A-V-A. Dvorak, now that is close. Smetana, Hiroshima, Smetana, that's correct. Which also sounds like a sort of a yogurt drink in the Soviet countries, Smetana. So, Hiroshima. Let's give you a point. Right, we're going to move on. And maybe without even playing the piece again, you could tell me what is the time signature in this piece. What is the time signature? How many beats are in a bar? First correct answer will get the point. Play a couple of bars again. Okay, yep, we've got points already. Ruby was the first one, 3/4 time. Very good. So, there we are. Now, at the end of that round, we have Rishabh, Hiroshima, and Sophia with a point each, and Ruby with 2 points. So you're in the lead at the moment. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. And, okay, what about the tonality of this piece? Now, someone I think was blurting out odd words earlier in the chat, but I'm not going to go searching all the way back up there now. From this point onwards, who can tell me the main... There we are, Ruby again. It's in a major key. Okay, you're practicing your fast finger typing, aren't you, Ruby? So well done. Okay, and all the rest of you afterwards, Audrey, Dante, Rishabh, Sophia, you're all correct. It is a major, but Ruby gets the point for getting in there first with her fast typing fingers. Okay. A slightly trickier question now. Can anyone describe the texture at the opening phrase? The texture of the opening phrase, which I just played you a little tiny excerpt of just this second ago. I'll give a mark for homophonic, Ruby, but can anyone be a little bit more specific? Detective Home, light, happy, dance like it's not the texture so much. A simple melody. That's describing half of the texture, but it's not really giving me the whole. Transparent. You can see through it. If we take Audrey's answer, a simple melody with what sort of accompaniment? I want to go a bit more specific. Melody with an accompaniment. What type of accompaniment? Chords, okay. Right, I'm going to go that. Ruby gets an extra point there. Now, you've been trying so hard to get the head. Simple melody with chordal accompaniment. Yeah, that is correct. Right, now we're going to go on to something where you cannot guess the answer without actually hearing the specific question that I'm going to play. some melodic intervals. Now in the past when we've done this, I've split this question into various sections, okay? So the first time, I just want you to give me 3 interval numbers, just like first, second, third, okay? Well, an interval of a first wouldn't be a very interesting interval, but second, third, fourth, let's say, all right? Don't try and describe them in more detail like major, third, minor, second, etc. Just the numbers. So here are your 3 intervals, and I will only give the mark 3 marks. I'll only give 3 marks to the person who can get all 3 right, one after the other in a row, okay? So, here are your 3 intervals. Just say the numbers only. That's the first one. That's the second one. And that's the third one. They all have the same top note. Okay? I'll play them again. Second one. I'm hiding my hand so you can't cheat. And the third one. Okay, so we have 3, 4 and 2, 3, 4 and 4, 3, 4 and 3. I think we've established that the first one might be a third, but the other 2 are not correct yet. 3, 5 and 3. Getting closer. 3, 5 and 4. Nirashana, sorry. That is correct. 3, 5 and 4. And you get 3 points for that. Okay. Right. Now, can anyone tell me what type of third the first third was? What type of third is that? First correct answer is from Audrey, and you get a point for that. So Audrey is on the scoreboard now with a point. Okay. What type of fifth is this one? Is that called product placement and advertising? Let's do that. What type of fifth is that? You have to say both words in your answer, not just maj or major or min or minor. Diminished fifth. Well done, Audrey, again. Okay. And then finally, this interval. What type of fourth is that? Perfect fourth. Nirashana gets the mark for that one. Nirashana. Okay, so let's see who's where on the scores. Sophia, last week's winner, is on 1 point. Rishab, also on 1 point. Audrey on 2 points. And Ruby and Nirashana equal on 5 points. Now, I'm going to do some melodic intervals next. Which ones were they? Okay, let's have a listen to these 3 melodic intervals. And again, just send me the 3 numbers, okay, without any description. Here they are again. What 3 numbers are they? 2, 3, 2, no. 3, 3, 2, no. Just looking at the various possibilities in the chat. 4, 3, 3, that's getting closer. 5, 3, 3, Sophia, correct. And you get 3 points for having all 3 in a row correct. 5, 3, 3. All other answers now are redundant because we've had an answer that was correct already. Now, can you name which type of fifth is this first interval? What type of fifth is that? Diminished fifth. Ruby, well done. Okay. Eking out a slight lead there, Ruby. Okay, now, what type of third is this one. What type of third is that? Not a minor third, sorry, no. Have to say the whole words. Audrey gets the points. Okay, major third. Where are you, Audrey? There you go. Right, now, I think someone already said major, but Dante, you can't have the point for just saying major because you might have been referring to a different question and just been typing late. You have to say it as the two words one after the other, major, third. Okay, and the final interval. Are you ready? Which interval is that? And again, Audrey gets the point for a minor third. You're in there first. Well done. And everyone else is coming in just slightly later. Now, there is a trick to getting your answer in first. Okay? You can type the answer somewhere on a Word document and then just copy and paste it straight into the chat. Or you could just type it in the chat, but don't press send. And then press send as soon as the question's been asked. Okay, now, that's sort of a little bit of cheating. Let's see what the next question is. Or do you want to hear the scores? Let's hear the scores, shall we? Okay, so, Rishabh still on 1 point. Sophia and Audrey now are bringing slightly closer tail up to the leaders with 4 points each. But Nirashama is on 5 points and Ruby still just in the lead with 6 points. There we go. Now, I'm going to ask you about the cadence at the end of this phrase here. What type of cadence is that? Okay. Perfect cadence, Audrey. Well done. And you get another point there. Right. Now the next question is to name the last two chords. And this is quite tricky. Okay? Somehow I'm going to have to hide my hands and play it at the same time. Because you don't want any cheating. Particularly hide the bass note. The top part's not so important. Okay, I'll play you a tonic triad first. And here are the last two chords. Now, there are two separate points for that. The Ruster Mouse, you are correct, dominant to tonic, but I want a little bit more specific there. And 5-1 is the basic answer, but there are also possibilities of inversions. Okay, so someone is getting a little bit closer right now. 5C is the wrong inversion. 5-7 is getting a little bit closer, Audrey, but not absolutely correct. 5-7-1 is the same answer again. 5A, 1C, no. Okay. One at a time. 5-7-1C. Now you probably wouldn't end on a 1C at the end of a piece, to be honest. 5B, oh, we're getting very, very close now. Now, it's a combination of answers that we've already had. Because someone has mentioned, okay, I'm going to play you 5B to 1. How would I do that? Yeah. But this is what I played. So, what is the difference? You're writing the same thing, Ruby. 5B to 1A. Sort of. But there's some, I'm going to 5-7B. Oh, you're very close. It's a shame we put 1C on the end then, Nirashama. 5-7B to 1A. Sophia is correct. Now that was a tricky question, and I just lost my pencil. Oh, there it is. So, I think that's worth 2 points, to be honest. That was a very tricky question. 5-7B to 1A. Yep, and everyone's getting it now by the process of elimination more than anything, isn't it? Okay, right, now this piece is actually quite full of modulations. And I'm going to play you a little section around the middle of it and stop at various places. And you've got to tell me what key I'm in at that place, okay? So we're starting in the key of G major. Now, didn't someone say last week in the quiz they got perfect pitch? Was that Sophia? I can't remember who it was. But if you got perfect pitch, this gets quite an easy question. Okay? Right, now, here is a chord of G major. Okay, I'll play you from the second line, and then I'm going to stop, pause at one point, and I want you to tell me what key we are in. Okay, so what key are we in at that point? Not the relative minor, actually. It's B minor. Well done, Ruby. Maybe it's watching my hands. It's fair enough, I suppose. I can't really play two hands and hide my hands at the same time. So, there we go. All right, now, that's not the only modulation in this piece. So we've ended up in B minor. I'm going to carry on and tell me what key I'm in at the end of the next phrase. Okay, you didn't watch my hands. Well done, Ruby. What key was I in at the end of that phrase? I want to play it again? Here is the B minor that we finished on. What key have I modulated to now? C major. They all came in a big flood all together. Nirashama, I think, was the first one with the answer. So Nirashama, you get a point there. Okay, now, next, carry on. I'm going to play the C major phrase again, and then stop on the next phrase, and we've modulated to another key. And C major, and now, what key am I in now? Let's see who can get the answer first in the chat here. It's not A major, it is D major. Ah, Detective Holmes. Sherlock, we'll call you. All right, you're on the scoreboard. Well done, detective. Okay, that's a good bit of detective work there. Okay, and then a flood of answers comes in straight after, but it's the first one in the chat with the correct answer. So Audrey, you're correct. Rust the Mouse is correct. JW is correct. Dante is correct. Ruby is correct, and Sophia are all correct. Okay, so you've got to be first to get the point. Now, scores are very, very close. In the lead is Ruby with 7 points, but only just behind with 6 points are both Sophia and Nirashana. And then Audrey is only 1 point behind that with 5 points. And then we have Rishabh and Detective on a point each there. So, okay. Can anyone remember what I used to link the first two phrases together? Now, I'm going to play the first two phrases again, and can you tell me, or can you tell me without me playing it maybe, if you can remember well, what did I use to link the first phrase to the second phrase? Okay. A chromatic. Oh, I'm tempted to give it to you, Audrey, but you didn't use the whole phrase. Come on. Chromatic scale. Detective Home, you can have it. Yes. Chromatic, could be chromatic harmony, couldn't it? But it's a chromatic scale. Yes. So Ruby, you're correct. Sophie, you're correct. But Detective Home Mr. Sherlock himself gets the first point. Okay, now, don't worry about the Italian terms. I saw someone saying in the chat there that they're worried about the Italian terms. I'm going to make it a bit different this week. So it won't be quite such a big change of marks right at the end, okay? But I've got another little idea. A sort of random trivia question that could be worth some marks. Okay. Now, in terms of Italian terms, I'm just going to ask one question and there is only one correct answer. What Italian term do you think the composer himself actually wrote to describe the tempo of this piece? There may be various ones that could fit, but I want the one that the composer wrote. What Italian term did the composer write to describe the tempo of this piece? Minuet isn't a tempo, it's a style. Giocoso is more of a character. Allegro. Allegretto, Dante, that is correct. Allegretto. It's not terribly fast, but it's got a certain slightly lively character to it, hasn't it? So Dante, you're on a point there. Okay, and Rustamouse, you are correct as well, and everyone else is coming in after the fact, after the horse has bolted. There's no point trying to shut the stable door. Okay, that was a quick question. Now, let's have a little look at a trivia question which could really sort you out. Okay. For 2 points, because let's bear in mind here that Audrey's on 5, Nirashama is on 6, and Sophia's on 6, and Ruby's on 7, and Rishab and Detective Home and Dante. Oh, Detective's got 2. Rishab and Dante have got a point each. Now, 2 points for this question. And it's nothing to do with the piece I played, apart from the fact that I'm going to ask you a question about the composer. Okay? What fate did Smetana share with Beethoven later in life? Something happened to both those composers later in their lives. What fate did Smetana share with Beethoven later in his life? And by fate, it's something that wasn't very pleasant that happened to him. But he still carried on. Yes, Dante, that is correct. They both went deaf and they both carried on composing after their deafness. Okay, so Dante, you get 2 points for that. You're on 3 there. Okay. Now, I think the clue was probably more Beethoven, because it's sort of quite common knowledge that Beethoven went deaf, but I'm not sure so many people knew that Smetana went deaf later in his life. Okay, can anyone beat Ruby this week? Because you're still holding on to the lead there, Ruby. Okay, I'm rooting for you, because you've been trying to get to win this competition for weeks and weeks now. Okay, right. Final question, and this is a tricky one. It might need a bit of a Google search. Now, I said earlier that the composer also wrote a very famous piece, a symphonic poem, describing the big river that goes through Czechoslovakia of those days, called Vltava. But that symphonic poem came from, let's say, a cycle of symphonic poems, okay? And the complete cycle of 6 symphonic poems was entitled, in English translation, Ma Vlast. That's right. No, the Czech words. I just told you the Czech words, Ma Vlast. What is the English translation of those 2 words in Czech, Ma Vlast? What does it mean? Now, I'll give you a little bit of a clue. One of the symphonic poems was called Vltava, probably the main river in Czechoslovakia. What does Ma Vlast actually mean? The 6 symphonic poems that Smetana wrote. Smetana. I keep calling it Smetana because it's like a yogurt drink in Ukraine and Russia and other Baltic and other countries like that. But anyway, let's not get stuck on yogurt drinks. Mavlast means, oh, I can really, yeah, I'm going to go with that. My country. Not so much my homeland, although that's very, very close. Detective home, you are correct. My country. So, not so much rivers, no. Vltava was one of the symphonic poems about the major river, and then there were other symphonic poems about different aspects of his country. So we do have a new winner this week. Pop out the champagne for Ruby, who had 7 points, and very close behind with Sophia and Norishama had 6 points, Audrey 5, Detective Holmes and Dante. A nice debut for Detective Holmes. I keep saying Holmes, it's home, isn't it? But your first time ever, 3 points, and with Dante. And thank you also for your contributions, Rishabh. So, that was another pub quiz. We will be continuing these for the time being until lockdown finishes. Okay, but yeah, big congratulations. Thank you for your kind congratulations, Rishabh. Okay, and well done, Ruby. And I'll see you all next week for another live stream virtual pub quiz on Music Online UK. Thanks for your contributions.